Housing renovations and neighborhood renovations obviously help to improve some depressed areas of the cities and also promote economical development and improve the quality of life of the people. Most of the governments are trying to look for solutions to design public policies with social positive impacts.
That is a typical block of flats. They were all built somewhere between the 50s and the 80s during the time of the socialist state. In certain countries, there are up to 50% of all people live in these buildings. Also, when they were privatized en masse, that privatization didn't go along with the appropriate transfer of maintenance and management functions. To renovate a building, you would need to have at least 2/3 of the tenants agree to the investment. When we're talking about energy policies, they're mostly focusing on public stock because it's easier. There is one owner. You need to have the social policy, the energy policy, and the housing policy in place because you have a housing issue which is caused by a regulatory gap and a market failure. We try to advocate for solutions which are scalable and supported by government and market actors.
La ciudad de Barcelona tiene más o menos unas 2 décadas y media, al menos, de fuerte presencia y fuerte actuación en materia de rehabilitación de vivienda. Un asunto que ha sido objeto de debate dentro de nuestro equipo de trabajo es si esta cultura de rehabilitar a través de subvenciones puestas a disposición de las comunidades de vecinos para financiar una parte de su rehabilitación, que en algunos casos puede llegar a ser una parte muy sustanciosa, si esto estaba siendo lo más eficaz y eficiente posible desde el punto de vista de uso de los recursos públicos y de atención de los problemas ciudadanos. Estas 444 fincas son los 444 edificios más vulnerables desde el punto de vista sociohabitacional. Son comunidades o no suficientemente bien estructuradas o en la que la gente carece de medios económicos y tienen extremas dificultades para poder acceder a unas ayudas a las que tendrían derecho. El planteamiento es acompañarles con un enfoque técnico, sí, pero también social, en el que estamos haciendo un trabajo que es en parte intervención sociocomunitaria, en parte fomento de la rehabilitación. Tenemos que estructurar cestas de financiación en la que haya recursos de los propietarios, subvenciones de las administraciones públicas y el recurso a la financiación externa de entidades financieras domésticas, y mientras estas no reaccionen tendremos que aprovechar las disponibilidades de financiación pública europea que sí están ahí encima de la mesa. Lo que estamos es en un proceso de transformación, de cambio de paradigma, sin abandonar los valores añadidos y el acervo de las cosas bien hechas en el pasado, y tratando de desarrollar instrumentos nuevos que sí que somos conscientes que van a ser todos ellos mucho más intensivos en trabajo y en esfuerzo, porque o son financieramente más complejos o son socialmente mucho más complicados de gestionar.
In housing and in building production, the main forces are private. In Greece, another specificity, it has always been small scale. We don't have social promoters, constructors in the public sector. The stock is aging, so renovation is a very important issue that we have to face, and it's a question who is going to do it and how it's going to be done, with what effects. It's something we experience especially in the centers of big cities. A lot of abandoned, empty, unused stock. So there again, it's another front for renovating. I will very quickly go through to 3 policy directions that we've been working on. The first is to provide empty buildings that belong to social security funds or the public bodies for public partnerships or public social partnerships. The other thing is the process of a discussion, still in discussion, in very primary design phase, of a tool that would enable municipalities to intervene in the vacant stock and abandoned buildings. And the third one is how to open the way for an existing sector third sector, speculative, non-profit sector into housing.
Most of what you've seen is a result of an integrated plan designed and managed on this co-governance structure implemented between the city council, and the several civil society organizations in the neighborhood. We wanted a technology that could be applied keeping the tenants inside, that could be relatively fast to do. We wanted to be not only carbon neutral but carbon negative, and enjoy the opportunity of doing it at a relatively large scale to develop a technology that would push local technology and products. So Portugal is the biggest cork production the biggest cork production in the world. So cork and the development of a non-cement mortar, which has a way lower energy consumption on the production, but differently or opposed from the concrete. With age, the carbonization process, it increases the quality, the mechanic resistance, and absorbs carbon dioxide during its lifespan.
La Ley de Subvenciones del año 2003 ya contemplaba que siempre que muchas veces sobre una vivienda se haya dado una ayuda pública, se refleje en el registro de la propiedad, digamos, que como una carga afecta a esa vivienda, que toda persona que vaya a adquirir la vivienda sepa que ha recibido unas ayudas públicas y que en el caso de que no cumpla el destino para el que fue concedida dicha ayuda, puedan tomarse medidas.
Habitat Giovani is a project that has answered at least 3 issues: to reuse empty public flats located in public buildings, to provide affordable housing to young people, and to engage small construction companies in financial crisis period.